Welcome to Cleo's story.
So I always wanted a white cat since I was 7 years old, but we didn't have cats growing up. I wanted a white cat so bad. There was this Persian big white cat across the street. I begged and begged my mom, but we did have 3 dogs. So then I was allergic for a long time until I got allergy shots. And then my first cat was Mercutio, the black one. Oh, is that Satan? And I'm just kidding. And then I got, who was next? Romeo. Oh, that was a whole story I'll have to tell. Crazy cat lady. Not me, the people that were working at the shelter. And then my husband was like, "You're gonna want another one." And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna want another one. And then, of course, I found my white cat, and she has a great story. I'm gonna have to tell you. She's from Tennessee, originally.
Is that your new litter?
Baby, your eyes are so dark without the sunshine.
Hello, my babes. Hello, my sweetie pie. Biscuit time. Biscuit time? Oh, now I can't get up and get my cup of coffee. So, apparently she's from Tennessee. You know, they bring up animals to the shelters. And I had seen her on the site, and her name was Paris. And I was like, oh my God, I think I want her. But she got adopted out. And I was upset. I had been trying to get some other cats that fell through too. She was this little tiny little muffin of a cat. I have a picture of her somewhere. And when you know it, you little snuggle bunny. You my snuggle bunny? Yeah, snuggle bunny. So now, on the website, I see this young guy, and he adopted like a grayish tabby and her. I guess he went to get 1 cat, and then I guess he just went home with 2. And I was in contact with the lady who takes care of the adoptions, and she emailed me, and she said, oh, he's returning her. I don't know how long he had her, probably just a couple days, not more than a week, because she's sick. So apparently she had, I don't know what kittens get, worms or stomach issues or whatever. And the nice lady who had about 10 or 11 of her own cats, talk about a cat lady, she nursed her back to health. And she was in contact with me, and she says, well, I just really want to get her to 2 pounds before she goes off to a new home. So I was getting pictures and watching her get better. I forget how long we waited. It wasn't too long, maybe a couple weeks. And then we went to go pick her up, and I'll never forget. I just assumed she was going to have blue eyes. And I went, and she was so tiny and scared. And she had green eyes, which all my cats have green eyes, and I have green eyes. So I'll never forget her little sea green eyes just stared right at me. And we took her home, and she was, she gave the other cats a little run for their money. She definitely stood her own ground at 2 pounds. She was she was that big, I think. I have a couple pictures I'll have to dig through and find. And, she was great. She was healthy, so we renamed her. So if you haven't noticed, Mercutio, the black cat, was my first cat ever. He has a great story too. And my husband's an English teacher, so we wanted to name him something Shakespearean. So when we got the tuxedo, we kept, Mercutio and Romeo, our friends in Romeo and Juliet. And we did not, my mom said, no, just make sure you don't buy a Juliet. But I don't love the name Juliet. So we just picked another Shakespearean name, which is Cleopatra, is also in one of his stories. I don't think you can call them stories, but I forget what Cleopatra's in. Obviously, Cleopatra's also famous. So those are the 3 Shakespearean names that we have for our 3 cats. And then the 4th cat, Sandy, has a different story. She's I'll go into her later, but she's called Sandy from Sandy Cheeks from SpongeBob. So we dropped the Shakespearean names at the fourth cat. And hopefully we'll be getting a Gary soon because I love Gary's my favorite SpongeBob character. But I digress. So there's a big joke in our house because the lady that was handling the adoption, she was really, really good at writing about each cat and making you just, fall in love and want them. And she really did an amazing job. And as she was writing me wonderful things about Cleo here / Paris, oh my goodness, she said without a doubt she's one of the top 10 cats ever that she's seen. And, of course we believed her. And Cleo is amazing. She actually really is a little spunky girl. And she was so tiny, so she does get pushed around a lot. But in my house, we're always like, oh yeah, Cleo, top 10 cat. Like we kind of thought she was just, in some ways BSing us to make sure that we went through with the adoption. But in other ways, she actually is one of the top 10 cats. So sometimes we'll be like, you know what? She is one of the top 10 cats. So I often think about the fact that, this girl was probably born out in the streets in the wild in Tennessee, thrown into a white van, brought up here, on a long ride, lived in a shelter for a little bit or with a foster person, and then went to a home with a guy that didn't want her. He probably just got in over his head and thought, oh my God, why did I adopt 2 cats and now she's sick? And I understand, and I'm happy that he gave her back and she found us. But I think about what a rough little start to life. So she's a little skittish sometimes and a little nervous, but I think, when you have that kind of start in life and you're already the runt, it's got to be rough. But she is a doll, and I have wanted a white cat since I was 7, and I'm 52 now, and she is, oh geez, how do their ages go? Mercutio's 8. I got a cat for a year, every year except one. Every year I bought a cat. I didn't bought, I adopted. Mercutio's 8, Romeo's 7, Cleo's 6. Oh, baby, you're 6 years old. And then we didn't get a cat the following year, and then we have Sandy, who's 4. She's awesome too. So I finally got my white cat 43 years later or whatever, 40 years later. My little dream cat came to live with me, and she's a doll. Cleo is a doll. So that's her story. I know you're scared, babies. I know. She's hiding. I love you. Okay. I love sharing these videos with you. Please subscribe. Thanks for watching.